This is Dilys Gayan from Inspired Selling Facebook group. And once again, I have a wonderful guest who I would like to showcase this month. And just to give you a bit of context, those who may not have come across this before, every month I choose someone from the group who has been the most active in the group, but who has also added really good value. And it's actually the member showcase for May. Let me get that right. And our member showcase this for last month is Hannah Jago. And without any further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Hannah and say hi. Great
Hello.
to have you here, Hannah. If anybody, by the way, is watching this and you're not a member of our Inspired Selling Facebook group, please do come and join us. Just pop onto Facebook and search for Inspired Selling. We'd love to have you as a member. Okay, Hannah.
Hello.
Hi. Tell us your story. Tell us how you got to where you are today and doing what you're doing today.
Wow. Well, that's a story and a half.
I know. So we'll just do a brief.
I know. We'll keep it short. Really, I've had a retail customer service management background for about 15, 20 years. I started really when I was about 15. And as we do, we sort of progress up the ladder. We do different jobs. And then I have my children. And once I'd had my children, I really realised I didn't want to go back to work and work for anybody else because that meant time away from my children. I couldn't take them to the dentist or horse riding or sports days or the things I wanted to do with them. And I took up my own business called Sago Jago, and I was selling fair trade jewellery and accessories, and I also made cards and I did wedding stationery. And I was very craft orientated, but my passion was for making sure that whatever I did had a good ethos behind it. So selling fair trade was something that was quite passionate to me. I think we have everything we need in this Western world, and we have a duty and a responsibility to help others elsewhere. And that's always been something that's run through everything I've done. There's always been an element of helping somebody and giving back, if you like. And so I had my children, I did that business, and I built up a really good clientele of people, lots and lots of contacts. What I didn't really realise at the time is that I was learning how to network, but I was doing it with my own business, if you like. And then I found myself 7 years ago leaving the relationship that I was in, that I'd been in, married for 19 years, or in that relationship for 19 years. And suddenly I was plunged into single parenthood, and it was quite a scary time, as you can imagine. And I'm sure that's something that a lot of people will have in common with my story is life happens, things change, and we're never quite prepared for those things. Certainly I wasn't financially. I think I'd been prepared for parenthood for a while, if I'm honest. But the financial side, I really wasn't. And I started looking around for alternative ways to not only make money, but to help people, doing something of value and with purpose. And I was looking at network marketing because I saw a lot of my friends were doing it. I think my mother had been in networking. So I sort of understood that it was a different way of working. And what I saw is that it would give me the flexibility to not have to work full time, and therefore I could be around for my children. That's what really excited me. And then I came across an amazing business called Utility Warehouse, and I saw that business had a great reputation with it. It was backed by tons and tons of Which awards, which when you're looking at a product or a business or a service, you take that to be a good selling point, you know. And I saw that this was a FTSE 250 PLC business. It was based in England. I was already a customer, and this business was helping people to not only save money, but make money. And I saw it as a real opportunity to partner with a business that could help me, but could also help other people, and that would give me real long-term income and prospects as well. And so I partnered with that business, and that was 5.5 years ago. And I really, really love it. I really love what I do
And I'm
because it's really helping people.
so
You are one of my lovely customers. Yes.
fabulous, and I share it with people too. And what I
Oh,
love about this, Hannah, is that this is, you always refer to this as your part-time business.
yes. Yeah.
You've got the freedom still to do the other things that you like to do.
Yes.
I know you are very creative. You're a very artistic person, as I can see from the hair color,
Hello.
which is fabulous because it's really brilliant branding, by the way.
Thank you.
But just touch on some of these other creative things that you do, just so people get a feel of
Yeah,
who you are.
absolutely. Well, thank you. Um, I've always had lots of different things on the go, and when you listen to people like Richard Branson and Tony Robbins, and even people like Oprah, they all talk about having several income streams because nothing is certain in life apart from death and taxes, of course. And realistically, we sometimes have things crop up in our lives where we suddenly that income gets taken away from us. We're either made redundant or we have a period of sickness. And I got run over 16 years ago and I was told I'd never walk again. And I had a 4-month-old and a 20-month-old. So I can now walk again. I'm absolutely fine. That was sheer determination and stubbornness, I think. But I realized at that time that financially we didn't have a backup plan. So when I left the 7 years ago, I realized I needed a backup plan. So I set about creating different things I could do and at different times that would give me different bits of income. And music has always been one of my passions right since I was 10 and I started playing the piano. And when I met Chris, who I'm now married to, he remembered me playing music at school. And he said to me, "Are you still doing your music?" And let's just say it had been squashed for a very long time. And again, I'm sure that's something some people will resonate with. So I decided to start teaching. And I just put in practice what I had been taught from my music teacher. I have no qualifications. I've never been to college, but I have a massive wealth of experience of working with children with special needs, and doing things like playing for school plays and playing in schools, playing the piano in theatre groups. And so I had a lot of experience. And I think really when you find something you're passionate about, that's where it comes from, is a place of knowledge and experience and wanting to share that with other people. So yes, I started playing the piano, teaching and playing. And then I decided to go and work with old people. So I went and played in lots of different old folks' homes and residential care centres. And generally I play a bit of classical, a bit of jazz, and then I usually do a little bit of singing at the end and usually make somebody cry. That's what I'm told anyway. Anyways. And that for me has been about finding my voice again, because it was kept very quiet for a long time. So it didn't happen overnight. It took a long time of gaining that confidence again. And of course, you look at the exterior and you go, "Oh, she's full of confidence." But honestly, it's taken me a long time to get to that place. And yes, you talk about the creative flair. I've always had crafts and I've always liked doing things with my hands and being very tactile. I like texture and colour. And if I showed you my living room now, it's all different crazy colours. So yes, the world is...
Well, Hannah, don't you?
Say that again?
You do painting.
I do. I've just started recently creating fluid art, which is a process where you put different types of paint together in a pot or on the canvas, and then you just roll the canvas around and let the paint flow wherever it wants to. And for me, that's been a very interesting process of letting go of the outcome. I'm a certain person. I like to have certainty. I like to know where I stand, what's going on. And so letting go of that control has been a part of this art therapy process for me, if you like. And now I share that with other people. So yes, then you talk about the part-time business and it sort of blends them all together, really.
That's what I was going to say. You must have read my mind, because it allows you to blend them together, actually, doesn't it? Because
it does.
that freedom
Yes.
to be able to do these other things.
Yeah.
Which also bring you in an additional income stream.
Yes. Yeah.
So just give us a little bit of context around utility warehouse, because I know
Yes.
people who go, oh, utility warehouse, no, I don't want anything to do with it. Fabulous. I'm not someone who would just do this sort of thing and change my utilities and what have you, which I know you're going to tell us about in a minute. But it really is robust.
Yeah.
And I stand very solidly behind what you're doing. So just give us a bit of context, and then who your ideal target market is.
Okay.
And then we'll go a bit deeper into this.
Okay. So the company itself is based in London, and it's been around for 20 years. So it's got masses of credibility behind it. It's listed on the London Stock Exchange. It's a FTSE 250 PLC business. And as I mentioned a little bit before, the Which magazine regularly rate Utility Warehouse as the best company for phone and broadband, gas and electric. We've even won an award for our bill. I mean, go figure, it's a piece of paper with some figures on it, But just last year, we won the Best Telecoms Award, and just last month, we won the Best Utility Company of the Year. This is a brand new award that they just created, and we won it. And this is a company that most people haven't heard of and that don't advertise on the television, because we only do business by word of mouth. And honestly, it's the best way of doing business is by a recommendation. And that's why we've only ever grown organically. And what the company do is they help people save money by earning cash back on all of their shopping absolutely everywhere, on the high street, on the internet. And that cash back comes off of their utility bills, making them cheaper. And we simply provide 5 core services. So phone, broadband, gas, electric, and mobiles. We've just added home insurance. We are soon to be adding boiler cover, which I know for a lot of people is a massive issue, especially if you own your own home. It's a big expense. And the home insurance that we currently have has just been de facto 5-star rated, which is the best rating you can get. And we've just been doing that about a year. So again, masses of credibility within the industry. And we are looking at adding water next year once it's been deregulated. So what we're doing is we are taking over the control of those services and putting them onto one single monthly bill. So you have one direct debit at the end of the month, which means you don't have lots of pieces of paper. You've got one direct debit, so you don't have to keep thinking about when things are going to come out and juggling finances. And what we do is we take the stress out of that for people, because we do all the switching of the services, deciding on which services people want to take. And sometimes they might want to just do energy because they're in a fixed deal for phone and broadband. But we can even show people how to come out of that, and we will pay the early exit fees if they qualify. And not only do we do essential services, but we give our customers lots of free benefits. So we give them free light bulbs, which then reduces their energy even more every year. We give them a free gourmet card, which gives them money off eating out, restaurants, theme parks, cinema tickets. So when they're going out with their families, they're able to save money as well. And really, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I just want to interject, because when they came to give me my light bulbs,
yes,
it's like absolutely blown away. Energy saving. And one of the questions I asked you was, so are these bulbs, these ones where you've got no light and you have to wait?
No.
They're fantastic. And they did the whole house.
Yeah.
And we go to the cinema, we go to Cafe Rouge particularly.
Yeah.
Gourmet card.
Yeah, money off. Yeah.
And I just transfer money every month onto
your cashback card.
Card. It's a debit card, isn't it?
It's like a budget card. Yeah, it's like having a number 2 bank account, really. Yeah.
Money on there.
Yeah.
And I just pay for everything with that. Yeah. And then I get all the cash back.
Yeah.
Which are reasonable anyway. They are anyway.
Yeah.
So honestly, for me, I just think, why would anyone absolutely
not want to?
Why would you not do this? And you're not paying me. I'm not
no
any affiliation.
No.
Warehouse. I just honestly, this is just thrilled to bits.
That makes me happy. And you know, this is why I do what I do, because when I hear that from somebody like you who has a, you know, huge credible reputation yourself, that's why it's important to me that we get it right, because that affects your relationships too. If you're recommending something and something doesn't work, that affects your relationship. And that's why I can put hand on heart and say, actually, yes, we are credible. You know, I'm proud to support and partner with this business. You know, it's not my business, but I'm representing that. And that's why I looked very closely at the credibility when I decided to join the company, because there are amazing network businesses out there. Most of them are selling products. And a lot of people are struggling in product businesses at the moment because they're having to sell a product that people don't necessarily want to pay for. It's a luxury cost. Whereas everybody needs services. Everybody has to do shopping. You know, we all need to eat, put fuel in the car, buy clothes for our children. You know, my husband's just flown to Dubai today. Actually, probably not, because the trains keep getting cancelled. But, you know, we've bought those online and we've earned cash back. He bought travel insurance. We've earned cash back. He bought the train tickets. He's earned cash back. You know, it goes on. There isn't really a time when we don't buy something and we don't earn cash back, you know. And that's money. That's our hard-earned money that's coming back off our bills and staying in our bank, rather than the big corporations who are wasting our money. And, you know, we can't badmouth the competition, because it needs to be a fair playing field. How ironic. But, you know, that's why we, you know, need to be thinking about our environment. You know, we're not wasting paper. That's why the light bulbs are so good. Yes, they come on straight away. They're brighter. They don't get hot. You know, they're fully dimmable. And we are replacing the nation's light bulbs. An interesting little fact for you. We've given away over 3 million light bulbs in the last 2.5 years to the nation. So it's a lot.
Hannah, before I get into talking about the problems we solve and the benefits and so on.
Yep.
The other thing that I was really impressed with was that, you know, because you can have a good service, but the good service really surfaces when there's a bit of a problem. And these were big problems. I just had some questions, and there was my broadband is very important to me, as you know, because of doing things like this and interviewing people internationally. So the broadband is really important. And I got onto you, and you were back to me, I think within like 2 minutes. You're back onto me and helped me through that and got me sorted. Now that's what I call good service.
Well, thank you. That's where I draw my retail experience from the last 20 years. Because it's not the fact that the customer's king. That's not what it's about. It's about helping people solve their problems. I consider myself a solution provider. You know, if you have an issue, I may be able to fix it. And I'm very honest with people. I say, I may be able to help. If I can't, because I'm not a technician, I will send you to head office. And they're amazing at what they do. I mean, they are fabulous. They really are. The tech team are brilliant. And I've needed to use their services as a customer myself. And I think that's the thing, is when you're recommending something, you need to be a customer yourself to fully understand the process. And that's what I did. Is I was a customer for 2 years before I embarked on this business journey, because I wanted to see it work. I wanted to go through all the nitty gritty, and I moved several times as well. And you know what? That for me was a massive benefit. One phone call, they moved everything. I didn't need to remember a password for another phone number or another company. I didn't need to go and find an account number and then think, what's the number for that? You know, which I had in all my previous moves. And ironically, I still have the piece of paper with all those things written on it somewhere, just for prosperity. But life has become a lot simpler, and I don't think about money in a negative way now. I just know that lots of it's flowing back to me to create memories with my family, and it's a pleasure.
Fantastic. The other thing, this extends even further, because I know initially that you were working with individuals like me, helping families and so on. But you're now moving into the business market.
Yes.
Selling your solution into schools and charities, and so on. So tell us a little bit about that and the problems that you solve for those kind of clients.
Yeah.
B2B sale, isn't it?
Yeah.
B2B.
When I go to see residents, quite often, and they can be homeowners or tenants, quite often they have a business elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And what I find with business owners who have premises elsewhere, they usually have lots of paperwork that goes with that. And again, when they've got one bill with everything on it, we've done all the transferring and they've got one bill, their accountant loves them a lot more. Because when you turn up with one piece of paper with everything on it, the accountant has a much easier job. So we're sort of indirectly helping other businesses as well, which is kind of ironic. And so a lot of people say to me, well, you know, we've got big, what's the word? When they have a long contract, you know, maybe a 2 or 3 year contract. We don't have contracts. We don't tie people into long-term contracts because we don't believe that that's fair to a business. How on earth do you know in 2 or 3 years' time if you'll still be trading? This is a very volatile market we're working in right now. A lot of businesses are going out of business, especially on the high street. That's going to knock down to the smaller individual businesses at some point. You know, the recession is going to come and it's going to hit us hard, I think. That's my own personal view, but I'm seeing it already. And things are cyclical. So for a business to not have that tie-in is a massive benefit to a business, to give them the freedom to try the services, get a lot better customer service that's UK based, and have the flexibility to add things to their business when they need it. You know, we don't tie them in for 12 months for the phone and the broadband and say, well, you've got to take this phone package. You can change it each month. You may have an influx of business and need to make more phone calls. So we'll give you some more minutes, but you don't have to have those next month if you don't want. You can drop back down to a smaller package. And we do that with our mobiles as well. So it's about giving the customer the flexibility and the choice. And that's very important for us. So that's businesses. Then we have a position called CFR, which is Community or Charity Fundraiser. And what that does is it gives groups and charities the ability to share Utility Warehouse with their members and their supporters and say, look, if you guys sign up to the discount club, as we call it, and you're saving money, every month you pay your bills, we will get a little bit of income for our charity, simply because you're paying your bills. You don't have to do anything because head office will give that income to the charity automatically. And that realistically can mean hundreds or thousands of pounds. And we're talking about churches, schools, playgroups, things like brownies and guides and scouts, all sorts of football clubs, you know, sports clubs, anybody that has a group of supporters with them. And if you think about a school, for example, when those children and the parents sign up and the school is getting income, at some point those children are going to leave school, but the parents are still paying their bills. And then, of course, more children come and join. So that pot of income gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And that is valuable money for a school or a church, for example, to create fundraising income simply by people paying their bills every month. And I just think that's phenomenal. This is a company that's doing good in the community rather than taking stuff out, you know. So that's the sort of the people I'm working with at the moment, and I'm looking for more contacts to groups like that because it's making a big difference, you know, to people's pockets, because also then that group doesn't ask you to be contributing and digging in your pocket, which people find difficult to do, you know, unless it's a big national thing on the telly, you know.
I hope our members will help you and support you and give you some.
Oh, that would be lovely.
It's just introductions.
Yes. Yeah.
So, Hannah, I know that you have won lots of awards, but the other members in the group maybe don't know you as well as I know you. I've only known you for a short period of time.
Yeah.
Year and a half.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And I have seen the commitment that you have. I see how successful you are. I see the awards that you've won. I see how you expand your thinking. You're always reading, and you learn and develop yourself.
Yeah.
So and have been very, very successful in Utility Warehouse, as
Mhm.
well as with your singing, as well as with your painting, as well as with teaching your piano. So
Thank you.
let's just tie this back into business and give us your top tips for increasing your customer base.
I think really when you're looking at increasing your base, I think first of all, you've got to look after the current customer base as best you can. I mean, I have over 250 personal customers, which very few people do in the business. And that's mainly because I've worked very closely with other network businesses as well. They all have to sell products where people say, I can't afford that this month. So I work very closely with other network businesses to get that flow going where we all benefit. Anything I do has got to have an all-round win-win, and it's a bit of a cliche, but that's important to me, that everybody benefits. If there's one party that doesn't benefit, I'm not interested. I want to make sure everybody benefits from something. So looking after your own customer base is important. Checking up that things are okay. We've had several little messages where I've dropped you a voice message. Is everything okay? Can I help in any way? That's important. And I try to do that as regularly as I can with the customer base I have. And then to work with those customers to help them with referrals. How can I help your friends? And some people can be a bit cautious. And they're like, I wouldn't know what to say. And it's like, well, just listen to people struggling. And I kind of guide that customer as to what to look out for. Is your friend saying, oh, I can't go on holiday this month or this year, I haven't got any money? Then I need to connect you with my friend Hannah. She helps us save money. So I try to educate my customers as well as I can, to not think of it as a sales pitch, but as a listening tool, listening out for people's problems and their pain, and saying, I think I might have somebody I could connect you with. And ultimately what's happening in that process is that person is becoming a connector and a networker. And I call it connect working, connecting with your network. So I think, that's part of the process, is current customers and helping them to move forward in that journey themselves.
And what I've loved, I've just taken some notes here. So what you said there was, look after your existing customer base.
Yeah.
Absolutely critically important.
Yeah.
What level, if you're selling large ticket items, B2B, business to business,
yeah,
just look after your existing client base.
Yeah.
Also to look for other opportunities within that
Yeah.
client base. And
Yeah.
ask for referrals.
Yes.
And, people go, oh, I find it really difficult. I say, how many times do you ask? And they go, oh, actually, I don't.
Yeah. We're not psychic. I mean, some people are, but we're not generally, I don't have Utility Warehouse written across my head,
It is purple, which is the Utility Warehouse.
Bit of a giveaway.
Fantastic. but yes, so, ask for referrals. And
Yeah.
You said you educate them. Now,
yeah.
yours in a way is a different education, because you're educating your clients, your customers, to listen out for
issues
that you can solve. But in a direct B2B that isn't quite aligned, talking about, the education is still important.
Yeah.
You need to know what to say.
Yes, yeah, because they're not a Utility Warehouse distributor. They don't know the stuff, And really, what I get customers to think about is, we're a business that helps customers earn cash back off their bills. It's quite simple. That's it. I don't like to overcomplicate things. And also, we should sort of be able to describe what we do without actually saying what we do. I help people put more fun money in their back pocket every month. That's what I do.
Nobody's interested in Utility Warehouse, and I love you, Hannah, but nobody's interested in Hannah Jacob either. They're interested in what your product or service.
Right. What's the benefit to them? Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the looking after your existing customers, further opportunities with your existing customer base, and leaving them subject to problems and issues that you could probably solve.
Yeah.
Educate them. Ask for referrals, but educate.
Yeah.
Remember to ask for referrals. It's a superb way of generating new business. And like that you said was about you what's the word? You collaborate.
Yes.
With others who are in multi-level marketing.
Yes. Yeah.
But in B2B, just
Yep.
look at the opportunities. For example, I had someone come to me recently, and he might listen to this because he's in the group, but he has asked me to put a sales program on the back of his joint venture programs, on his affiliate tree.
Yeah.
To put a sales program on the back.
Yeah.
You know, it's about looking out for opportunities and
thinking,
who could I collaborate with?
Yeah.
Either, you know, directly.
Yeah. Or past me. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So some really great stuff there.
And do you know what? That's something I love doing almost more than what I do for myself, because in 20 odd years of retail, I have a massive wealth of people I know, huge connections from all walks of life. You know, I've got some famous friends and I've got some friends that are homeless, you know, I mean, right from one extreme to the other, and friends all around the world. And I think sometimes we get very focused on what's in front of us and we don't look past that. And I'm always interested in who can I connect that person with? How's that going to benefit their business? And, you know, one of the things I see on Facebook and social media is a lot of people saying, does anybody know somebody that does da, 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 you know, and you get this barrage of tags. Well, how on earth does that person go through all of that stuff? I mean, it takes hours to go through that and then message the person. And then it turns out it wasn't them, it was their uncle. And, you know, and so what I do when I see stuff like that going on is I put people in a three-way message, very specifically on purpose, introducing them to each other. I'll give you an example this week. A friend is looking for a carpenter to help line out they're making a camper van for her disabled sister so that they can travel around. And she was looking for a carpenter. So tag, 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 tag. I do the message and I connected with her, with my friend whose husband is a very experienced carpenter. And I said, you might be able to help, you might not. I know you're very busy, but you know lots of people who could help, you know. And sure enough, that's what's happened. They can't help in this situation, but they've got masses of contacts. And they do a lot of charity work with Round Table as well. So, you know, I've connected those two people together. Ironically, they're both in property and now they're talking to each other about all that stuff. And I go, yay, I love it. And of course, they're then going to come back to me and go, we need a property sorting out now. Can you go help us with the bills? Now, that's not why I did it in the first place. But the natural law of giving means you receive something back along the way somewhere. It happens, you know.
And it's thinking outside of the box.
Yes.
You know, try and get the blinkers off and think,
yes,
how can I create connections? How
yeah.
can I ask for referrals? Or how, you know, how can I, what other ways are there?
How can I best serve other people?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes,
yeah, that's something I'm very passionate about. It isn't always what's in it for us. In fact, it should never be about what's in it for us. It should be, how can I help this person to achieve what they're trying to achieve? If they're having a problem, I mean, we don't need to presume that people are having problems. We just need to see where there's a gap and where we can plug it with a contact or a connection or a relationship or some knowledge. You know, sometimes it might just be they need to go and learn something, which is what you talked about. I'm massive into personal development, lots of books, lots of reading, lots of courses, you know, and expanding my mind, because as you said, you know, sometimes we go through difficult patches in life and we need to learn and grow, you know.
So Hannah, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, what are your contact details?
So I can be reached on Facebook, Hannah Jago, nice and easy, or people can send me a text. Do you want me to give details? I'm happy to. Yeah, so you can reach me on 07810 143 283. That's 07810 143 283. Or people can email me, and this one's really easy because it's a bit like my surname, sagojago@yahoo.co.uk. Is nice and simple. So SAGOJAGO, yeah, at yahoo.co.uk.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much, Hannah.
Oh, it's been my pleasure.
Before you go, what would you, why would you recommend anyone join Inspired Selling as in our group, in our closed free group?
Yeah. I would recommend anybody to join this group who has an interest in growing their business and growing their business connections and helping other people, because the things that I've seen in the group have been of real value, whether it be personal development or an interesting fact about something going on in business, whether it's, a great book that somebody could read, or best-selling practices. That's been really interesting to look at, some best top tips of what to do, whether it's for referrals or, a system that people could put in place. And that's something I don't think we always get in the business world. And I think above all of that, it's a group of like-minded people who all want to help each other. And that's really important, in whatever thread it is, in whatever way it is, we're all there to help support each other, especially if we're just not having a very brilliant day or we're struggling a little bit with something. It's nice to be able to go in there and say, look, I'm having an issue with something. Has anybody got any other ideas? Because I think sometimes we can get, like you just said, very blinkered. And sometimes a fresh set of eyes on a page or an idea is just something that kicks us out of that stuck mode and helps us move forward, So, yeah.
So if you're watching this and you would like to join us, just go into Facebook and search for Inspired Selling, and I'd love to have you as a member of the group. Hannah, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's my pleasure too. Thank you for asking me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.